Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. I'm J-Spot Jack Cheese from Cat Pack Comics, once again with another movie review. I am reviewing The World's End, directed by Edgar Wright and written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright. You may be thinking, but J-Spot Jack Cheese from Cat Pack Comics, The World's End has nothing to do with comic books. And while you may be right, I like this movie. I didn't like it as much as Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. Here I go again, comparing it to past works of the creators. But, as opposed to Elysium and District 9, which is what I was doing last time, this is part of a trilogy, the Cornetto trilogy by them. It's all written, directed. It's by the same guys. Got the same guys in it. And, it's not a trilogy like Star Wars is two trilogies, you know what I mean. Or like, okay, Lord of the Rings is a trilogy. Transformers, the best trilogy. It's more like a trilogy like Baz Luhrmann's Ballroom trilogy, or I think that's what he called it, which was like strictly ballroom, Romeo and Juliet, and Moulin Rouge, which obviously have no story ties to each other, but just stylistically and how they're shot and everything, the mood of them is all similar. That's how they are. That's how this is a trilogy. It's a trilogy, and they're all kind of like send-ups, homages to different genres that the guys like. They're all, that kind of comedy, really gory, like I said, same people, everything, but it seemed to be missing something. I don't know. I was having a hard time explaining it to Nip. I'm even having a hard time pinpointing it myself, but it's just missing something that the other two have. And the closest I can come to it is it's missing the love for the movies that it's spoofing. Like Shaun of the Dead, you can see a lot of love for like Dawn of the Dead. Well, the whole George Romero movies, Zombie, Return of... You can see it for like the whole genre of zombie horror movies. It's just there like throughout. And Hot Fuzz, same thing. You can see a lot of like love and reference to like cop movies, many of which they talk about like a lot in the movies, like Point Break, Bad Boys 2. And this just didn't seem to have that. It almost didn't even seem like no, it definitely seemed like you could tell they do all the quick shots. The fighting reminded me a lot of the Scott Pilgrim versus the World fighting. Like how it'd be like, I don't know, the way the camera moved and the way that they fought everybody reminded me a lot of, like, I guess a good comparison would be when Scott's fighting all of number 2. Chris Evans is Luke Wilson. I can't think of it. Lucas Lee, that guy. Yeah, it reminded me of the fight when he's fighting against his stunt doubles. How it kind of goes boom, boom, boom. He throws punches with another guy. Camera like follows him over. Boom, boom, boom. Fights the other guys. It's a lot of like one shot fight scenes. Alright, I'm sure they're edited together somehow, but still. Like minimal shots in a fight scene and just spliced together really well. So, I like that stuff. The fights were pretty cool. But yeah, just there was something missing. Something like that. So that's, like I said, that's the closest I can get to it is that, I guess, love of movies. I want to say I didn't find it as funny as the others, but there were still a lot of like moments that I laughed pretty hard at. A lot of good like physical comedy from Nick Frost especially, obviously, but from everybody else too. It having been almost a week now since I saw it, I do have to say that it's, remembering back to it, it's growing on me a little bit, which I think is how I was with the other movies as well. So hopefully, once I see it again, or once I wait till it's on DVD or something, it'll hopefully be like up there with the other ones. But for some reason I just don't think it will be, because It just didn't feel the same as when I saw Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz for the first time. Even like the fence joke, which they have in all three, it seemed forced or rushed. Maybe it's because they didn't stop to do the, the turn around and like, what's the matter? You never taken a shortcut before, that they do in both the other ones. It just kick the door down, boom, jump on it, it's done, and then it goes to black. It seemed really just like thrown in there. The cast was awesome. I say that like every time, but hey, I like cast in movies. I really like this one though. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are always awesome. This time they kind of got to switch their roles from Shaun of the Dead. Nick Frost is the hardworking businessman. I mean, Shaun wasn't a, businessman, but he's the one with a job. He's more adult. And then Simon Pegg's the childlike adult who's only wants to drink and stuff. Paddy Considine, who was one of the Andys in Hot Fuzz, is in this. Eddie Marsan, who I thought I would hate because I don't usually like him and stuff. Ended up being maybe my favorite character. He's really funny. Martin Freeman was good too. He was in both Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. This is his first like big role. Mainer role in theirs though. Pierce Brosnan, I didn't know Pierce Brosnan was in this, but I was fucking pumped when I saw him in this. That was awesome. Second James Bond they've had in their movies. The best James Bond, I might add. Bill Nighy makes a cameo in it, as he does in all the other ones. Nearly like everybody from their past, which I was kind of expecting because I know this is their last. It's supposed to be their last, project together. Martin Freeman, Bill Nighy, Julia Deakin, Paddy Considine, Michael Smiley, Mark Heap. I really liked seeing him just because I don't see him in a lot of stuff other than Spaced. What am I forgetting? And the guy that played Dexter in the Metal episode. What's his name? Reese Shearsmith had another small role, but he was another one of my favorites. Just because, again, I don't think I've seen him in anything except Spaced. And it was just awesome because the whole time I was just thinking of that character. I gotta be missing somebody because I swear to God, they were everywhere. But I wouldn't be surprised if I missed one or two of them. Something I caught a little ways through, a little after I should have. And this is just because I had a hunch because it's kind of their thing to do. The names of the bars all are a hint or clue at what they're going, or what's going to happen at that bar. I think the first time I realized this was happening was when they get to the Good Companions, I think was it. It was the name of the like 5th bar or something. That was the first time they were all like, fuck it, let's do this. Let's go. Let's drink. A couple after that, there's the Hole in the Wall. Nick Frost drives his car through the wall. The World's End. The last one. I'm really trying to think of the other bar names, but pay attention when they go to each bar and something will happen that is indicated by the name of the bar or whatever. They do the same thing in Shaun of the Dead after Shaun gets dumped by Liz, where Ed, when they're at the bar drunk, he goes through a laundry list of what they should do, and he essentially gives away the entire plot of the movie in a way. And instead of trying to remember the quote, I'm just gonna right here. Good? Just pause it if you need to read it. I don't know, for some reason the name of the bars reminded me of that quote, and that reminded me of when I realized or when I heard about that was like the story. So I was like, oh, maybe they're doing the same thing, and they were. So yeah, pay attention to the bar names. They're all gonna hint to something that happens at the bars. The ending I like, but I don't think it's amazing, I guess. But that's warming up to me as well, as is the rest of the movie. I didn't really like that. It just seemed to me that Gary King Simon Pegg's character didn't really, like, the whole time he was being a kid, you know, he just wants to relive what he did when they were kids. Everybody's else like, you need to grow up. And then you realize that the whole reason he's doing this is because, like, when he doesn't, he's like tried to commit suicide, which you find at the end, which it gets pretty dark at the end. So you find out that he wanted to do this, and then they finally do it, and all this happens, and then he doesn't really grow up. He ends up with the younger versions of themselves. So he's still a kid. He's still living in the past. Is that the point? Is the point that maybe some people don't need to grow up? I don't know. I mean, he seemed happy, so I guess maybe I should just shut up and be happy that he's happy. I just thought the whole point, at least for his character, was to grow up. And when that never happened, I felt I was confused. But maybe I was just interpreting it wrong. Maybe the point is that, yeah, maybe he just wasn't supposed to. And that's okay for some people. So, rating time. The World's End gets 3.07 Batmans out of 5, or 8.07 out of 10. So, room for improvement, but like I said, I didn't like it as much as like Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz, which I would probably put in the 9s. But also, like what I said, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the rating of this for me goes up over time. So yeah, definitely check it out, especially if you like their stuff. But check it out anyways, hey? I think, yeah, check it out anyways. Okay?